This is Modern Persian Food,
a culinary podcast for today's food enthusiast.
We talk about classic Persian flavors,
modern recipes,
and embracing culture and identity through food.
I'm Bita.
And I'm also Bita.
Welcome to our show. Hi, friends. Welcome to episode 135. Today, we're joined by a special guest, Reza Jackson, also known as Reza Jax. He is a social media icon and star. You may have seen him on Instagram, TikTok, and kind of like iconic for fashion, dance moves, funny dating scenarios, some cool little skits where you pretend to be your parents, but we're also here with co-host the other Bita June. Hi, guys.
Hey there. Reza Ju, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
We thought it would be fun to kind of take a little different perspective. We've been intrigued by your cooking videos that you've been posting, and we thought that maybe we could showcase cooking as a bachelor and cooking Persian food as a bachelor, how you do it, what you're into, and any tips that you can share with people who are kind of in the same stage of life as you.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say I'm still a bachelor, but I mean, things have changed. I'm 33 now. Like the way I was cooking, I'm still cooking the same stuff as I was maybe 10 years ago, maybe with some improvements. Like obviously, tahdig game is next level now.
I'm quite impressed.
I saw a macaroni tahdig that I can't even do. I mean, like, dude, that was really good. Barikalla.
It's a blessing and a curse. I realized that like actually just 2 days ago when I just made rice with tahdig for some fesenjoon that I had left over from I didn't make the fesenjoon. I bought it from a store. And I was like, oh my God, if I can make tahdig like this every day, so nice. But like, God damn, that dad bod is going nowhere if I'm eating tahdigs every day. So to answer your question around what it's like, any tips as a bachelor cooking Persian food, I think first and foremost, gentlemen, it's a game changer for all women. Persian women love it because they're like, wow, this is crazy. And, non-Persian women, white girls, they love it even more because they're getting like ethnic food. So the perceived value of your cooking skills are inherently at a different tier when you cook a zereshk polo. By the way, zereshk polo, as it stands today, is my most prestigious recipe that I cook. But I think as far as a tip, it's an obvious one. Listen to your mothers, because all of this is a product of the story is, I lived with my parents till I was like maybe, I think 22 years old. And at 21, I was moving to Barcelona for an exchange program. And that's what prompted my mom being like, sit down, I need to cook you some staples. I was living with like 2 other Persian friends. So we all had our own little recipes. I'll admit I was the best. They didn't know shit. All they knew was how to cook a, omelet. And so that's what happened. And sort of like the 5, I'd say, key recipes on my go-to list are kabab tabi or kabab digee, classic. Getting better and better at it every time. Macaroni, Persian macaroni, kotlet, salad olvia.
Oh, wow.
And I'm going in order of like value, salad olvia. And then number 5 is zereshk polo.
Wow.
I'm capped at those 5. And omelet, Irani, like with tomatoes and what have you. And I used to be able to make qeime. This is back when we didn't really have Instagram. So my mom, or like WhatsApp. So my mom had it on a piece of paper and I lost that piece of paper. Hence, I lost the recipe.
Oh, no. So you can never make it again.
Yeah.
Well, let's break that down. What is kabab digee? What is that?
We all know kubide.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say it's like a homemade version of kubide, where it's ground beef, lean or extra lean. Lean is a little bit tastier, obviously. My mom's recipe is very simple, and it got a lot of feedback on the video that I posted with like, why didn't you add saffron? Why didn't you add turmeric? And I'm like, listen, like it works. I'm not messing with my mom's recipe and making it all complicated, but it's simply ground beef, lean or extra lean, mixed with onions. But like, it's important in what texture?
Knead it.
Is that what it's called? Kneading?
To like knead the meat.
And you grate
Grate.
the onion on the thing. Yeah.
Correct. So I'd say like 500 grams of beef, one medium-sized onion, salt, pepper, and I mean that's literally it as far as the meat portion. You put that on, essentially with the top on it, so that it creates a little bit of like steam. And then I split the meat into like 2 or 4 sections, and then that's where I strategically place my 4 half tomatoes.
Oh, yep.
I still leave the top on because you need the steam to break down the tomato. And then I'd say towards the end, let's say the last 10 minutes, I take off the top so it's not too all that heat too watery. And then I let it on like medium heat, take some of that water out. And then that's when you get the like meat juices and the tomato. And it kind of like, if you leave it on for long enough, you could even make the almost like grill or sear the 2 different sides of the meat. I like flip it. So that process is about 30 minutes. And then the rice is obviously essential to the kebab digee formula. I basically put the rice in water, like wash it out a couple times, and then let it sit in water for about an hour. And then I have, after that hour, boil a pot of water. And then once it's boiling, this is important because I messed this up so many times and I realized like this is critical that you don't let the rice boil with the water. Like you put the rice in the water once it's boiling. And then in about like 5 or so minutes, you'll see the rice rising to the top. You'll see it all moving. So I let it sit there for about 5 minutes. I might taste the rice. It should be about 80% cooked. And by the way, these like exact numbers are coming from like doing this so many times that I've seen where I've messed up, specifically for the tahdig. And so once it's at 80%, you drain it. I'm using now avocado oil because apparently there's a lot of drama with grapeseed oil. And so quite a bit of avocado oil. I put the bread, typically lavash. My mom uses like pita bread that you can get anywhere. It doesn't have to be from Persian store, which works just fine. Put the rice back in. Typically have like a little dish towel, wrap it around the top, put it on top. I put the heat around medium or medium high, depending on how big the pot is. And this is important because like if it's a little bit too hot, you're going to have burnt tahdig. If you have it too low, it's not going to form the tahdig. So usually medium to medium heat is the right amount. Let it sit for about 30 to 40 minutes and your tahdig put in.
Wow. Super impressed, Reza John. That sounds delicious and very Persian.
So kebab tabe is essentially like the kubita kebabs that that are on the skewer, but instead of having it on the skewer, like a homemade version is just putting it flat on the bottom of a pan.
Does dig mean pot or something?
Dig does mean pot. So it's like you're making a kebab in a pot.
Gotcha.
Some people call it kebab tabe.
Yeah.
Before we move away from this topic, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the essential sides that should go along with this kebab digee is yogurt.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Go full fat. I mean, if you're on a diet, maybe, don't do the 0%. It doesn't taste like real yogurt. And then if you have rehane or sabzi, like basil, mint, etc., to eat along with it, that's essential. And then the third piece, and this is for advanced level, and you're probably going to guess this, is some raw onion.
Oh, yes.
Right into it, like an apple.
Yeah.
But if you're on a first date, I don't recommend that.
About to say, how are you still a bachelor? But I think I understand now. If you're eating that raw onion every day.
Hey, I have a girlfriend. She eats onions with me.
Oh, there you go.
If you're gonna have raw onions, you got to make sure that both parties are having the raw onions. Yeah. So. Thank you for walking us through that. That sounds like an awesome little recipe. Makes me want to make some tonight.
Oh, yeah, and somak. Sorry, don't forget.
Oh, don't forget the somak.
Yeah.
Mandatory.
We have that, too, in the cupboard. You have to. You just can't. It's really sad when you don't have it.
It's rude. Zeshte.
It's rude and sad.
Zeshte. That's so funny.
Are you a plain yogurt guy, or do you like shallots in there? Do you like khiyar? Do you like your masta khiyar, or you just want the yogurt?
Oh yeah, if I order it out outside, I definitely get the shallot, mustard musi.
Mm-hmm. That's the best.
Not cucumber. I don't like the cucumber. But if it's at home, I just do a regular.
Just a regular plain.
You mentioned zereshk polo a couple of times, which yum. But why don't we break down what is zereshk? It's the sour barberries, right?
Hmm.
Do you kind of like saute them down with sugar and make it, do you like it sweet and sour?
So butter first, right?
Yes.
And then you drain. I mean, you got to clean the barberries and wash them.
Yeah, a bunch of times.
And once it's drained, then you put it in. And then you also put saffron
Yeah, I was going to say that's like the key part of that dish is saffron.
and the sugar. Yeah. And then the key thing is that you don't leave it on. Like, it's very specific in terms of like how long it needs to sit with the butter and the saffron and the sugar in that level of heat, because barberries can burn really quickly. So you got to keep an eye on it. I think it's like maybe 3, 4 minutes. You could taste one and see.
Yeah, they're good. Thank you to our sponsor, Shaytune Persian dating app. With thousands of matches made daily, Shaytune is the top platform for Persian matchmaking. Whether it's for serious connections or just making new friends, Shaytune has helped many people find their long-term partners. The app is truly efficient and helps you find suitable matches fast. It takes 30 seconds to make a profile and instantly start matching. Shaytune is available on the App Store and Google Play. Now back to the show.
It sounds like mastering rice is like a key, because then you can like add the kebab or you can add zereshk and kind of customize it.
Absolutely. I mean, rice is almost every Persian dish except the courgette and Olivia, salad Olivia I mentioned. But I've gone through my trials and tribulations with rice. I can give some best practices. I think one thing that I noticed, this is an ever going, ever evolving thing. I'll continue learning about rice and tahdig.
Sure, as we all will, really.
But one thing I recently noticed was the actual rice that you buy is super important to the outcome. So I switched it from this, like, I think it was Indian basmati rice,
Hmm.
from this basmati rice that I got in LA from Raffi's market. Major difference. Be specific about, ask the lady that works there. Like, if she looks like your mom, she probably knows what she's talking about, right? Like, I asked her, I'm like, do you make tahdig? She's like, yes. I'm like, okay, then what's the best oil for tahdig? Gonna do your preliminary question.
Oh.
Yeah, so I think that the rice itself is super important. And then I mentioned earlier in terms of that two-step process of boiling it, bringing it to raise, and then draining it,
Hmm.
and then leaving it to sit. So I think the most important elements of that process to guarantee the rice comes out proper and the taddy comes out proper is that you don't overcook the rice in the first stage. So it's not like super soft and mushy.
Uh-huh.
And then two is your heat level is at a level that's adequate to create the tahdig, but not too low to not create the tahdig.
And it's so experimental, right? Like it depends on what pot you're using and the range or whatever thing. And so it sounds like you got it figured out. You got it down to a science.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would always go the route of, like, when you're testing, to go on lower heat, because you can always leave it longer or increase the heat, right? If you're gonna put in the boiling water to, like, sit for less amount of time versus more, it's like the concept of salt, right? If you put too much salt, you can never remove salt. But if you put too little, then you can always add later.
You heard it here, straight from Reza Jax.
So you mentioned Raffi's down in LA. Do you have any other favorites down in LA so far
Yeah,
in your last year of living there?
respect to Raffi's, a shout out. Kurosh is this mom and pop shop. This
Oh,
one guy cooks all these kubides, bangs it out, and I will say, like, by far, it's better. I mean, better than Raffi's, I think, from a kubide perspective only, which is the only thing I eat. I might do like a, change if they have kebab torch for sure. But from a kubide standpoint, Kurush just crushes it, like, religiously from Kurush. We've probably spent like $10,000 on Kurush.
oh my gosh. Well, I feel like I always gauge whether the kubide is good on whether all the other meats are going to be good. Personally, kubide has got to be good.
Yeah, kubide is a hard game though. You could mess up kubide real fast.
Yeah, oh yeah, totally. And also it's like on the sikh, on the skewer, like so it doesn't fall, and to get the proper ratio of the char on it.
Taste of Tehran is good too. Taste of Tehran is in Westwood. Kurosh is in Beverly Hills. So Kurosh is our guy for ordering in because I live in West Hollywood. And then Raffi's is like when I have family, when I have friends over, and it's kind of like, let's do touristy stuff. I consider Raffi's a touristy place.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best part about LA. There's so many options. I feel like I'm pretty limited here in San Francisco for like Persian food. I mean, we have our staples, you know, our go-to places, but there's like 2 in the city.
I have a feeling you're going to be heading down to get some when we hang up.
I'm starving.
I know. Awesome. So Reza, tell us, where can people find you? Where can they see these videos? Yeah, where's the best place for people to find you?
Yeah, I'd say mainly 2 spots. Instagram at Reza_Jax or TikTok at Reza Jackson. And by the way, Jax is Jax. I might start a YouTube channel soon. I don't know. We'll see. It seems a little bit daunting to have such long form content.
So you are Iranian, right? Both your parents are Iranian?
Full Persian, baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you're Jackson.
So this term was coined maybe when Facebook launched. And we were, you know, everyone's making Facebook names. I was 17. I actually remember this specifically. And in high school, people were already calling me Reza Jackson because I was the kid who was dancing Michael Jackson everywhere. I still am. So it just naturally stuck. And I've had it ever since then. And it's funny because it does spark like confusion with Persians because a lot of people think I'm like half Persian and my dad's last name is Jackson, but it's actually not. Should I tell you the real one?
Tell us.
Tell us.
Okay, don't tell anyone. So my full name is Sayed Reza Musavi Zadeh.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Definitely a mouthful.
And it's funny, my mom's like, imagine if we just change your name and on your grave it says, when you die, it says Sayed Reza Jackson.
Jackson. That's hilarious.
Stage name.
Totally. And, you know, it just goes to show that your passions can help form you and your name.
That's right.
Reza, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. It was great getting to know you a little bit better and learning your tips and tricks for single life, bachelor life, cooking Persian food. We wish you all the best and looking forward to seeing those videos coming up soon.
Thank you for having me. Talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Modern Persian Food Podcast with Bita and Bita. Thanks for spending time with us. If you've enjoyed what you heard today, consider telling a friend or giving us a good rating. You can subscribe to our show for free on your favorite podcasting app or find us online at modernpersianfood.com or on Instagram for the recipes and information we talked about today. We'd love to hear your thoughts and see you next time.